page 7 of the prayer book, please. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest. To aid all may I become Buddha in the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha. Until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest. To aid all may I become Buddha in the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha. Until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest. To aid all may I become Buddha. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be parted from sorrowless bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from bias, attachment, and hatred. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings. To you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer, the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings. To you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer, the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings. To you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer, the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme among humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides and said, I am supreme in this world. To you, who were wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme science, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the founder having all understanding, the field of merit with valleys like a vast ocean, to you, the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who were devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all 3 ever devout homage. To all worthy of respect, bowing with bodies as many as all realms, atoms, in all aspects, with supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a mirage, the flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. From Tushita's hundreds of God's protector's heart, to tip of this fresh, pure white heap, curd like cloud, O Lobsang Drakpa, Dharma's omniscient king, pray come to this place with your disciples. In space ahead, on lion throne, lotus and moon, venerable guru, smile brightly with delight. Pray stay hundreds of eons to spread doctrine as supreme merit field for my mind of faith. Your wisdom mind sees full range of knowables. Your eloquent speech fortunate ears. Your beauteous body, fame, glory, outstanding. Homage to you, worthwhile to think of, hear and see. Pleasant offerings of water, various flowers, fragrant incense, light perfume, and so on. Oceans of offerings fed out and envisioned, offered up to you, supreme field of merit. Non-virtue committed with body, speech, and mind, which I have heaped up since beginningless time, especially what has contradicted 3 vows. Each I confess from my heart with strong regret. In time of strife you strove to learn and practice, shunned mundane concerns, made life essential. O protector from depths of our hearts, we rejoice in your powerful great deeds. Venerable gurus from love and wisdom, clouds densely massed in your Dharmakaya sky, pray loose a rain of vast profound Dharma on fields of disciples just as needed. May whatever virtue that I've here gathered bring benefit to all beings and doctrine, and may it make Venerable Lobsang Drakpa's essential teachings specially shine forever. Migmet se wei ter chen chen reizig, Dri me kempe wang po jam pel yang, Du pung la lu jom se sa wei dag, Gang chen kepe su gen Tsongkhapa, Lobsang Drape jab la so wa dep. O glorious and precious root guru, pray take seat of lotus at my crown, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments of body, speech, and mind. O glorious and precious root guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments common and supreme. O glorious and precious root guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness, until supreme awakening remain steadfast. Homage to the exalted 3 jewels. Thus have I heard at one time the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha on Vulture Mountain, together with a great assembly of monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was absorbed in the concentration of the countless aspects of phenomenon called profound illumination. At that very time, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, was looking perfectly at the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, perfectly looking at the emptiness of inherent existence of the 5 aggregates also. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, how should a child or lineage train who wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom? Thus he spoke, and the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, replied to the Venerable Shariputra as follows. Shariputra, whichever son or daughter of the lineage wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, should look perfectly like this, subsequently looking perfectly and correctly at the emptiness of inherent existence, 5 aggregates also. Form is empty, emptiness is form, emptiness is not other than form, form is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are empty, without characteristics. That is, they are not produced and do not cease. They have no defilement and no separation from defilement. They have no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, compositional factors, no consciousness. There is no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visible form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, no mental phenomenon. There is no I element, and so forth, up to no mind element, up to no element of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance, and no cessation of ignorance, and so forth, up to no aging and death, and no cessation of aging and death. Likewise, there is no suffering, no origin, no cessation, and no path, no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and abide in the perfection of wisdom, and because their minds have no obstructions, they have no fear. Passing utterly beyond error, they attain the final state beyond sorrow. All the Buddhas who reside in the 3 times by relying upon the perfection of wisdom become manifest and complete Buddhas in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra, the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the equal to the unequaled mantra, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering since it is not false, should be known as the truth. The mantra, the perfection of wisdom, is proclaimed. Tayata gate gate paragate parasomgate bodhisoha. Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva, great being, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that concentration and said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, Bodhisattva, great being, well said, O child of lineage, so it is. The profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced exactly as you have taught, and the Tagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the Venerable Shariputra, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, and the entire assembly, as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, demigods, Gandharvas, and others, were filled with admiration and highly praised what had been spoken by the Blessed One. In the holy supreme abode of the Dakinis, possessed of clairvoyance and miraculous power, unwaveringly caring for practitioners as your children, homage to the host of the 3 places Dakinis, Akasama. Tayata om gate gate paragate parasomgate bodhisoha. Through the power of truth of the exalted 3 jewels speech, may all on the side of negativity, such as the 4 maras, be stopped. May they become non-existent. May they be pacified. All enemies, obstructors, and hindrances, shante gurye soha. 80,000 types of obstructors pacified, freed from adverse harmful conditions. May all be conducive and perfect auspiciousness, bring happiness and well-being here, right now. Saji peki junshin meta tramri rablingji ni degem padi sange zingdu meteuar gidrukunamda zingla chopasho Jesu Lama Dampagenam Ki Tukukala Kiensetrindrine Jita Sampe Do Japawap tu so idam guru ratna mandala kam niryatayami Jangda songi chomnala jagju pardu dagi kepsuchi dagi jonyen gepe sonam ki drola penchu sangye drupasho Joda songi chomnala jaju pardu dagi kepsuchi dagi jonyen gepe sonam ki drola penchu sangye drupasho Jongda songi chomnala jaju pardu gebu kepsuchi dagi chonyen gepe sonam ki drola penchu sangye drupasho
Okay, good morning everyone. How are you today? Good. Today's look like a real spring, right? Yeah, it's so wonderful. Hopefully no more snow. Anyway, it is wonderful for all of us to come here and do some practice, do some meditation, do some study. It is good for all of us. Therefore, we usually always say Buddhism is most important is motivation, right? You know, even you study Mahayana practice, but your motivation is not like join with Mahayana motivation, conjoined, then this is not Mahayana practice. Therefore, always benefit all mother, you think about all mother sentient beings is very kind, same is my mother at this life. Usually, we can say 99% mothers very kind for all of us. Maybe some mothers, they're controlled by ignorance, then they're not able to protect us, to help us much as they can. Therefore, it's not the mother's fault, it is the ignorance fault. Right? You think that? Therefore, same is mother at this life. All my sentient beings did my mother. When the time is the mother, if not time is the mother, they were very kind. Like example, our co-workers, classmates, friends, husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, they very kind each other. When you have some difficult situation, you have some person to explain, or your friend. Maybe you can talk with Google. Anyway, therefore everyone's very kind. Even though the birds outside, the animals outside, very kind. We heard the sound or different. We feel like peace, happy, right? Therefore, we cannot find anyone say that person is not kind for me. Maybe we say, yeah, someone makes you, unhappy or say something. Say, yeah, this person not kind for me. But it is not person's fault. It is the person follow the ignorant. Therefore, this is the power of the ignorant. It's not the person's fault. But we cannot accept that, right? It's very hard. No, not the person doesn't like me. They always make me problems. We always say that. Okay? Therefore, try to all mother sentient beings, try to looking for the positive way, then you are more comfortable. If you're looking for someone always to negative way, you can see all the time negative things. What they say, what they do, what they, whatever they do. Okay? Therefore, try to benefit all mother samshi. Therefore, I'm going to study and practice meditation. You keep like that kind of thought. You call motivation means thought. Then whatever you do, practice is more powerful, more, and the result become more longer. Okay? Then we do a little bit of meditation. Everyone to set up the motive, merit field, and in front of you, Buddha Shakyamuni. It's like same as the like monk, not just solid, iron piece statue. Like exactly like same as we can see the statue, the position still sit like that. Then front of you, very beautiful throne. Then above there, and the Buddha Shakyamuni, wearing the yellow robe, like smiling, is not too old. Look at us, like middle age, smiling, looking for us. All around Buddha Shakyamuni, all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, holy beings around the Buddha. Then around you also all mother sentient beings, your parents, your grandparents, your family members, your relatives, even your enemies around us. Then start thinking about yourself. First, go through your whole body, from your head to on the toe, knee. 3-4 times. Go slowly, go up and down. When you go down, just relax, peace. Sit what is comfortable for you. Then when you come up, also slowly, go from knee to head. Now you follow your own breath. Breathe in, breathe out. You think, I'm breathing in, breathe out. You really focus that you don't recognize any other things. It's your mind, more peace, more relaxed, stay with you. Now we can start breathing in and out. Breathing is also same as normal, how you breathe, nothing to push. Couple more times. Now slowly start your thought, not yesterday, not tomorrow, right now. Where is your mind? What your mind thinking? Try to find where your mind more focus. Now again, your mind go to see your mirror fields. Statue of the Buddha Shakyamuni around. It's not statue, it's Buddha Shakyamuni. Around all holy monks, nuns, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. Thinking from their heart, the blessing, the color of the rainbow color. They're all coming through their own heart, come for you. Before reach your head, they're all mixed together, become same. Then slowly hit your head. Try to you feel something different. The light go through whole your body. Is purified. Your all negative karmas. Go through your whole body. It fools whole your body like white light. Purify all your negative karmas. Then try to feel peace, happy or relaxed in a moment. I wish all Mother Samshimbes also same as me to happy, peace, relax. also you can share your happy feeling to share all Mother Sentient beings. Then again go back to think your battlefield. All the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, to resolve the Buddha Shakyam in his heart. Then the battlefield, the Buddha become smaller, they become light. Then they also come through your head, dissolves you, go through in your heart, sit there forever. Okay. Do you follow? Do you feel anything? You don't feel anything? Try to, try to feel something. Try to again and again, same thing every day, But it will be possible you can feel all different kinds. Okay? Tenina 당한도 가장 준만 독이다.
We'll resume from where we stopped last time.
다 드링한도 계셔시야데 야보시라 담념보시라 말했어. 주보다 뉴스자 거리 간이네 시거됐어.
Karen? Anybody need book? I have extra.
Already? Anyone books? My book.
Anybody need books? You have?
Share that.
Leave it over there, maybe somebody can use. There, you can live there. So good, everybody has book now.
That's good. Maybe you have a lot of books. You guys have a lot of books, right? Everyone has so many books. How many Dharma books? It's a lot, right? Did you read all of them? Do you understand whatever? Did you understand whatever you read? No, right? Do you practice whatever you read?
Or whatever you understand.
Whatever you understand. Do you practice whatever you understand? There's paper, tissue papers. Up there, yeah. Yeah, that one. Usually I always complain for Tibetans. When we have puja here, like a lot of people, not maybe like almost hundreds, 40, 70, 80, they're very close. They keep the teacup next to them. I want them to very complain. Keep your teacup. It's good? It's fun. The weather is very good. Today that three on the Marshade got tam nimbo shirayo mare. Can you meet the candidate cigarettes? Hit on shadows. Sit down there.
So what we're going to talk about today is not going to be very pleasant to hear. It's talking about death. How we die.
And this shitang chena tako ngazo tam nyendo, ma nyendo, garo, magaro, lamgaten doere.
So whether it's pleasant or not, whether we like it or not, that's the path we have to go.
Ina ane nambe chuni shewa ina, ane chewa matana chumatan sejore.
So there's a saying in Buddhism: if you don't remember death, you will not remember Dharma.
Ane ngazo nasa matana member take marawa. Otet pechi par.
So just like if you don't think about the disease, you will not think about doctor.
Ane ngazo nasa se nagri samena, tanda nag meba yena lipodeva na ngazo insurance tati chegyor. Ai nga nayona, tendo goresa.
So if we are sick, or even if we are not sick, and if we just have a doubt that we might feel sick, then we prepare that, right? By getting insurance, by seeking all other advices, doctors and so forth.
Right? Does everyone have doctor? Most, right? If we're not sick, but we just try to get ready if I got sick. I'm not pay look such a cargo. Reva Sasan,
so it says a saying in Tibetan also, like, you put a hope, on a good things, and then you make a preparation, for the bad things.
Tengun rendo ngazo. Manag revada mulum samayure. Yenaya nana menkan kawan royo. Doctor so then insurance kaji ngazo mata dawal mache tatido.
So that's like we all hope for, not getting sick. But if we are getting sick, then we prepare ourselves, by getting insurance, by looking for doctors and so forth. So everybody here in this country have insurance and doctors, right? So in that sense, it's good that you have all these facilities here. So also you have all these meetings, before you start some work, where you're going to put it, what are you going to do, where you're going to put, like if there's going to be a table, where is going to be, if there's going to be things on the table, what are they going to be, and which part of the table they're going to be. All these like things you talk about, right? So when you have prepared all these things, then when you actually get into the actual task, then it becomes very easy to do that, right? When you have prepared. So and then but in Tibetan culture, especially the monks, when we do things, we don't think about those things. We don't plan, beforehand. So like, for example, if we are going to arrange this place, then we bring everything inside here. And then when we have the thing, then according to, the things around, wherever the table is, then you put, there's the table there, okay, you put the textbook there, and like that, We don't make a plan ahead. And so it's just a way of doing the things, right? So we don't plan ahead, you plan ahead, and you do the things in the right way, but we don't plan ahead, but we also get to do the things right way. So it's just the way you do it, but at the end, you get it done. So here it's talking about following your plan, so planning ahead. Not just waiting until at the time, but planning ahead. So that's what it's talking about, death, right? So you think about death, so you plan, or you prepare for your death.
Okay?
So you have heard about Buddhism so many times, and you have studied for a long time, right? So you know about it. But some people who are new, they say they don't like it. They said they don't like Buddhism because it all talks about sufferings and death.
Right? 전저 고월이 지금 고대 남주 고대 빼자이나 마셔들이 담 골만 처음부터 받는 시대 그래.
So do you see that? It's all talking about death and impermanence, even in the beginning of the text.
오케이. 또 nen가지를 간지 자리 예원나 사버 등에서는 대군의 지제소라 빼 자리도 야본도 저도 내서도 마요 년에 다 자리에는 내서도 용이 갑라야 다 드링아도 배절로 와야 되잖아. 자리 예와이나 저랑 사람 감라 용고 말해서.
So in fact, this is a good thing, to know about it or to learn about the death and impermanence, because you get ready, right? So you're prepared. And when time comes, then you're ready. You can die peacefully. Otherwise, you have to die with great fear and suffering.
Okay. 근데 다 단단한도 담보 때문에 줄로네. 이봐 바도 줄로 발로잖아. 저거 때문에.
Okay, so
선반초와 첨보와는 연소적이 들어 섬세 되는 곳에 이봐 신의 바도 줄로 넣어서 될 말에 발로잖아.
So we're going to read the article number 303 and 304, okay?
바도 넘어가지.
303 is just the title, right? Okay, so how you live one rebirth at death and are reconceived in another. This has 3 sections. What happens at death? Your lifespan may run out, your merit may run out, you have not rid yourself of danger. The sutra on the factors contributing to death mentions 9 factors at death. These are the others can kill you. Your dying thoughts activate the karma that will throw you into the next rebirth after that death. The activators of this karma are craving and clinging, and this is what happens. You might feel I am going to be separated from this body and cling to your present body. Craving includes things like this, when you are not to be reborn in the hot hell. The object of this triggering process is your most powerful karma, be it black or white. If your black and white karma are full, then the triggering object is whichever of these 2 types is more familiar. If the 2 types are still equal, then whichever type of karma was carried out first will be triggered. The time when this triggering takes place is while the mind is still active and still has a course of recognition or attitude or either virtuous or non-virtuous phenomena. That is faith, compassion, attachment, anger, etc. And you can still recall such things as and reminded of them by other people. When of course recognition ceases, though when you are dying, thoughts are subtle. Your thoughts are neutral, and you are unable to remember any virtue or non-virtue. If your dying thoughts are of faith and so on, your virtue will be activated. It is therefore vital to pray with the various thoughts when you are dying, thoughts being activated. You could be a Dharma practitioner who continually creates virtue, but if you get angry, etc., when you are dying, you activate non-virtuous dying thought and go to the lower realms owing to the ripening effects of past non-virtue. And the same principles will apply to sinner who continually sins. At this point, one will be going to either the upper or lower realm. If one is going to the upper realm, one's body heat dissipates from the lower part of the body and collects into the heart. If one is going to the lower realms, the opposite happens. Heat dissipates from the upper reaches of the body. Lower. Also, you can know which of these 2 will happen by such signs as the degree of discomfort the comfort experiences during his illness. Discomfort during the illness refers to when a major part of the body fails. Some people hallucinate when they die. For example, they may imagine being thrust under bricks or killed by people.
Okay.
Subject Pabonka Rinpoche holds on this house he saw a steward of the central government die. He had stolen tea. When he died, he had hallucinated the thought he was being squashed under the box of tea. When an official from Tsang province died, he said, I am being crushed by many people. And he left that life in a state of terror, and so on. This also happens to people who have performed virtuous actions. Once a beggar who lived by the side of the road had a vision of a palace and white lights raised when he died. Geshe Pabonka Rinpoche also told an old woman in Chusang, who had recited Om Mani Padme Hum, and she died. Was related to death.
Okay. Do you understand? Oh, it's clear? 다 담보라도 아니 좀 연소 춤포와다 연소자들라 숨세도 와다 숨데 아니 담보데 치위견 가래를 해서 지그래서 담보데.
And so here talking about the rebirth at the death and reconceiving, right? So this has three parts, and the first one, so it's talking about the condition for death. So what causes one to die?
아 디젤 아니 셔드는 치위 질 아니 바도세도 간이죠 그래서 되오된 그래서.
And then after that, it talks about the intermediate state. Once you die, then how do you go into an intermediate state?
디젤 다 저도 바도 주다 아니 심제와 심을 연습 가디 시작을 라 그래서.
And then after that, once you have gone through the intermediate state, then how do you take rebirth?
아니 디갑라야 아니 텐더 옐로 주니가 아니 고왕 코스다 연소자들 해양 그래. 아니 텐더 옐로 주니도 마셔 그래.
At that point, where it talks about how you take rebirth into next life, it talks about the two of link of dependent rising.
와. 다 되는 마 당보들아야 다 사실 뭐 보셔야 그래. 다 사실들 남나시 때 삼점대에 약보여래. 나도 배우려고서 사실 되는 거 와나 양 쉬운 것도 나 하고 알아야 곰지 안 되나. 그래서 배우고서 와.
And so the first one, talking about the condition for death, right? So what causes one to die and how one dies. And so this is like the outlines, very important. So if you remember the outlines, then that helps you to, remember the contents of that outline. And when you are applying meditation or practice, and it reminds you of those lines, of those information that you are supposed to think about.
아니 단 체위 깨는 가르래서 나다 저와라 지 깨는 그 다른 저 말was.
So everything like has every impermanent thing has cause and condition, right? So just without a cause and condition, we do not ripen. The result will not ripen. So death is a result, right? And that has to have a condition for it to ripen. So there is a condition for death too. So without condition, death will not happen.
아니 체위갑라 샘 삼모당의 간대요래 샘 간진 건 제가 해서시오. 되니 바데.
And then second is what is the kind of thoughts that we have at the time of death.
And somebody and she become like to track and doors to company yard or than going mad doors, they shut yours.
And then like talking here, it talks about the dissipating of the heat, from your body, either from the head, down to the heart, or from toe and up to the heart.
아니 뒤질렀다 아니 셔터다 셔터질라니 발도 가디 접은 거래 간지 접고 해서 지어지 대시와대.
And then that's how you die. And once you die, then how do you establish or go into the intermediate state?
뒤질렀다 발도 내니 다 째와 간질래 양수 양주 째와 간질래 그래서 어때 사실 나이셔 그래.
And then the fifth one is from after the intermediate state, how you will be reborn.
오케이. 다 담본 치위째서 돼. 아니 다 양텔 숨샤 그래서.
So that condition for death has also three subcategories.
다 시험을 갈라는 미카지 손음세는 신도 그래서. 네 사샤도 손음세 손음 신도 그래서.
So here it talks about your lifespan may run out, right? So your lifespan, Tseten이라던 거지.
어째서는요?
So your
lifespan.
So lifespan, you run out of your lifespan. So you have a certain amount of life span depending on the karma that you have created. So when that has run out, then you die. That's the condition for death.
대답이나 미카지나 갱고 전에 배다 로자주 곱주 로페나 자드네션다 갈래 저는 먼저 즉 가로 말마 담보 세세로 들으나 텐디신도 그지래 야 가시가지 로춘주주들이야 신호도 어디 텐디나 양태드네 시고 연구를
And so people have different length of lifespan, right? So some they live up to 80, 90, 100 past years, and so some they die very young, very young, at a birth or an infant or teenage and like that. So depending on their lifespan.
배낭아도 배회가 아니 미시다고 뛰자 거야. 대고가 갈라야 매대 시야게 땡 가리종샤. 아니 나사 가리종 거리지. 나사도 요가 땡 가리랜도. 아니 콜라 텔란도도 문도 So kanga tigre kashi tela ndula kashi tela mandula.
And so then, so even if you have a lifespan, you might die because of lack of merit, right? So when the merit runs out, then you die. So you may die too. So some people, they die at a young, even though they have their lifespan is very low, they have this lifespan remaining, but they die, before their lifespan has run out. That is because of exhausting or having run out of their merit. And so in Tibetan Buddhism culture, we have this astrology, like where they do the mathematics, to see whether you have any lifespans left or not. And so what caused the death? Is it because of having run out of the lifespan, or having, even though you have some lifespan remain, but you still die because of having run out of the merit?
Pena mikaji pena something the lengdo pena mit ted karjin matwainess ko tongsa ko karjin tongwanese pena mota dawaro tenga to something the lengdo mikaji ko karjin mashiwana ko karjin shiwa the lengdo that thing those nambe chunijin tseseyo mares.
So some people, they they get into a very big accident, right? In the accident, many people getting into the same accident, but some die, some don't die. So I say, why didn't he die, or why did she die? Like that. Even a small condition can cause death. How could she die with that? Or so big accident and still they don't die. And I say, oh, how come they didn't die? We have all these doubts. So here, this is the answer for that actually, because the lifespan has run out, or their marriage has run out.
Legdo chunsu tode pena mikaji mota shana sawo shudurona kege machadere mikaji mota thada damena shinu de legdo.
So you have heard of these cases, right, where people have get into very, very danger accident, but they don't die, and some people, they just fall down the stairs and then die, like that, right?
That ndolaya chiwaga tese mewa sonam zo mewa ani chiwi chene matsawade ko shiyo mari.
So because there's no condition for that, like the condition like, not having run out of the merit, or not having run out of the lifespan, so therefore even they get into a very severe accident, they still don't die.
Teneda shingi gangala shingi chasangla ye injimichi tsesego mari tse masini shindo mamboyere.
And so it's not necessary that you have you die only if you have run out of your merit. So even if you have not run out of your merit, even if you have not run out of your lifespan, you can still die.
Teneda nindi kanji chitalan tiemando sumyore kashi tsesini shindo gore kashi sonumsini shindo gore kashi yangawa shindo gore. In shise gangala de sum tsango ni bayo mari. Yangawa said, and the color mantra, the Yangawa said, that's a goose con Shitamado Gundon Songdo, Petimal Pashimandu. Yangawa said, the penna color mantra Shindova, and the color machine Shindova, and the Menti Thomas and Shindova, the good.
So then there's also another condition for death, like it says here, right? The sutra on the factor contributing to death mentions 9 such factors for death. So those are 3, like having run out of lifespan, having run out of merit, having meeting with these kind of other conditions, like not having enough, not having enough food, to survive, or eating a food that is not fit for you, not like a poisonous food for you, and things like that. So there are like 9 factors, and it describes that can cause or be serve as a condition for death.
And then say such a sharing.
And so you may also die of overeating, right? If you don't limit to your food, you may die from that too.
Yes.
So I'm kind of visualizing this as like you're on your deathbed and you're thinking about dying and all the thoughts that are going through your mind and everything like that. But there's so many other ways that you could, like, what happens when you're practicing your whole life, you're practicing Dharma your whole life, and then all of a sudden you get Alzheimer's or something like that. You can't remember anything. You can't even remember like who your family is. You know what I mean? But you're still alive. And when you die that way, it's like how
가로 land 얼마 연구했어. 근데 나도 레 똑가게 치야도. 근데 또 냐면 냠바 가려서 하셔. 근데 사다죠 안에 되니 가로 똑가게 다 뒤단에 뒤오다 많이 거.
So he talks about that later, that's, which karma is more stronger, which one you are more familiar with, or which one is more strong in your mind, and whichever manifests first. So all depending on that, then karma, the result will ripen from that. And so whatever karma you have created, right? Like black karma or white karma or positive karma or negative karma. So whichever is more powerful, whichever you have created more, that is more likely to ripen. So if you have created equal amount of positive karma and negative karma, then depends on which one you are more familiar with. So if you are more familiar with the negative karma, even though it's the same amount, then that will ripen first. Or if you are more familiar with the positive karma, then that will be activated. That will be intrigued, or activated at the time of death, because that's more powerful. You're more familiar with that.
And that then you combat you, you combat you by one, then you learn Nima Kawasan. Did you about Sagamari? Nima Kanta, my English.
And so then, like it's equal amount of positive and negative karma, and equal amount of like familiarity with both of them. Then which one ripens first? Then depends on which one you created first.
That's before you have a sickness like Alzheimer's or something like that?
That's right, yeah. So there's yes, before you had that disease, like Alzheimer or something, that where you can't remember anything.
Yes.
What do you mean exactly by familiar with?
Habituation.
Yeah.
Which you are which one you are more habituated with?
Like yeah.
That you do more?
Like example, some people always like to kill, right? They're very familiar. They also very well
Habituated.
Very well
Killing,
how to kill. Some people also always do virtuous things. They're very well to do that. Yeah. 되게 슈치슈시가 말했어. 공부해주셨는데 가로 냠용서는 다 될라. 공시.
So how much you are familiar?
Familiar.
Familiar means like how much you are
Yeah.
habituated with that,
Yeah.
Even thoughts?
accustomed with
Yeah.
that.
Some of your thoughts.
Yeah.
Thoughts, yeah. Whatever thoughts or actions that you are more accustomed with.
Like example, today you always think that always in that maybe 1 hour you think of positive things, always positive things. The next hour you just negative things also. Then after any positive, negative, you go that. First thought is positive, right? Even you die that time, you don't have any motivation, then who become first? The positive one. Because you have same level number, same level time, same level, familiarity, the who create the first?
Which one is created first? Will be ripened first.
Yeah,
Sedilera.
yeah, we can say this life also people like many lives. Yeah. Example, this life. Now you create this money, first you negative karma, you burn very bad thoughts. Then after that, that's very bad, it's very bad things. You have purified that. Your purification. After that, you get mad. Again like that, maybe 5 times each one. 5, right? Now after you die, then you don't really have any, you die the neutral way. Then which create karma? Negative one first. Because same, everything is the same, but different time. If you create the negative karma first. Okay? But this is also more detail come grow down there, okay? There's a young one church you have also, no, some to do, Kaji, Kalamatra, May Matra, the Tilukushan like yours.
And so there are other factors contributing to death, so mentioned in this sutra, known as this sutra, that's like not finding, dying because of not finding medicine or having overeaten food, not finding a food, to survive and so forth. Those are the other conditions for death. And so even if you have a merit, even if you have a lifespan, but because of not having those things, you might die. So those are the other conditions.
Okay? What in the kanji luchuju chongwa na ngato tsese yo mar lawe mar kanji tsese ndo ko tsete ma ko ni pa me mambo yore.
So people when they die, young, it could be all these different things, right? It could be because their lifespan has run out, or their merit has run out, or because of meeting with these other conditions for death, cause them to die.
Namaste.
Then now it talks about the kind of thought that arises in the time of death, right? What kind of thoughts?
대셔발라 아니 딱 가리진 적은 치탕라데 가리래서 아니 가도 딱 셀린스 바슴 사지까지 덴데로 주닝 시에서 된 마시게 온 거래.
So there are three out of the 12 dependent originations or dependent arising, the three dependent arising that happens at the time of death. That's called the craving. Here it talks about craving, clinging, and existence. So those are three that establishes your next rebirth. So you know the 12 link of dependent risings.
셀린스 바들랑 가서 배제를 해라 그래서 말 드시길래로 배제를 아니 네게 램팸 땀 배제를 해서 간지 다들 스바는 램팸 배스 제탄 팸바나 린다던 저완도 냠다 따다 린더 달라세바 간지 시가라가 당어서 시가라가 내가 것을 봤어 당가 신도다를 갈린도 찬도다를 삼내까지 수수리라야 차바요 달라세바라 그래 다디 시가라는 거도 미디 시가라가 따고 시가라 미디 초알레고서 시단데라 제야 뭐보여야 된다 다내 나간다 시가라 간지 마시는 거라 소소 삼로 땅터에 갑라야 땅가 신도다를 땅가 린도 찬도다를 삼내까지 린들 차바질래 그래 달라세바라 그래
그거는 시버디 파제 누젤레더라 세바다 렘바니 벤젤레제 시버디 누젤레라 그래 그래도 눕사라 말해 디니라 때는 다 시바 된 거라 말해
어떤 배제를 해라 봐
그래
배제를
셀레니디 벤제제 시바디 누젤 말해
다디 야오 있잖아 Anyway,
so that's it's called the throwing karma, right? So you know about the throwing karma, the karma that propelling or throwing karma that throws you into the next life. So what exactly kind of karma or the thought that happens at the time of death that throws you into the next life is these three dependent risings. The three link of dependent rising is called the craving, clinging, and existence. So at the time of death, it is in the slow process of death, when we're experiencing, at that time, like we have this attachment. It could be like, to our body, or could be anything else. So that attachment, like in the case of our body, says, I'm going to be separated from this body. When you think like that, then you get attachment to that body. So that's called the craving. And so these three, the craving, clinging, and the existence, causes you to establish the result of the next life. So like it says here, I'm going to be separated from this body. So when you think of that, say, I'm going to be separated. I'm dying, and I'm going to be separated from this body. So at that time, you're generating craving towards your body.
간지 째와시마가 리드 간지요 나왔으면 텔레 잡바로 정 텔레 렘발랑도 세바데 젠디글라 잡바데지 렘바데 째와시메글라 잡바데지 다 스바세데 다 데니라 테네 다 째와시마 렌 초초 제셔 텔레 마르 로마들 생도 콜와 안다 막이 렌 초초 히도도 나 칼라나 사 초초 데니라 테네 쇼달라 아니 세발 스파 시바 어떻게 지라도
가라다 디시바 렘바디 가시 초차라
렘바데 다 스바디야 슈치하잖아 담보 스바 소소 센딜레 당한테 단도사레 삼 되지 다 렘바데 텔 슈치하잖아 대 슈치체네 다 제와 심하게 리드 간지요 나가 간지 리랭하면서 딘디 리드를 잡아 딘디를 램발도.
And so then the craving, is like the attachment, and the clinging is even like stronger attachment, especially like the showing like what you're going to be born in. Like so, having craving for the things that you're going to be born. Like here it talks about heat, right? Desiring for heat, which is going to which is like a kind of a sign showing that you're going to be born in the hell realm, in the hot hell. And that kind of, so when you have these two, like craving and the clinging, then that establishes the existence of the next life. And so with these two, craving and clinging, then comes the existence of the next life.
Okay? That tell it and silence about some. That takes a tastic on Nani, Tadi Holdo, Semdana, Lekana Sunani, Leka Topchevada, Tenyamna, Kankombacheva, Tenyamna, Nela Kanshabatella, Sunday grace.
And then the following paragraph it explains about the process, right? So it says the object of this triggering process is your most powerful karma. So whichever is more powerful, be it black or white. If you have black or white karma equal, then the triggering object is whichever is of these two is the more familiar. So which one you are more accustomed with, so that's the one that's going to be triggered. And if these two are still equal, then which type of karma was carried out first will be triggered. Whichever is first created, that will be triggered first. I don't know the page,
what
but
page?
It'll be 74. What is it? 477 of the blue book, yeah.
Tati and Tati Kona, that Neviga, the candidate Tati candidate Yungres, Tati so the candidate was not Tabana Namju Gawaya Bochedena, Yamana Suzuki Palabash, Tachan Hero, and Chananga Lama Majavachia, and the Jangchub was a Majavachia, Pa, Tembekana, and Kotels and Kotodo.
And so, how does this happen at the time of death, right? So it depends on a condition or situation that you are in, and you are in a deathbed and dying, and then somebody who is familiar with you, somebody that you know, like your friend or like better if your teacher is around, and then explaining to you, okay, you are dying now, you're going to have this kind of vision, this kind of thought. So so now don't think about other bad things. Just think about refuge. Think about bodhicitta, like that. Somebody who explained that, and that can help you to remember, to think about refuge, bodhicitta, and so forth.
Nani, remember we talked about a couple of years, and that Nando Mudi Chahalaga in Bayana, and the middle of Magagi Mitriana, tell him Dulum Mandrosa, that never next 2 years.
And so it says like if somebody is dying and if you are someone that person doesn't like, then you better not go near that person.
Remember we talked about that. Therefore, this is not the answer. I call the answer is talked about here. Karesavaina, and the me pacho what they tona, cook government, cook rancho, cook control.
So because if the person who's dying, if he doesn't like you, then when he sees you, he will like. Immediately or automatically get angry. So his anger thought will manifest, right?
That today the one Kadira was not in the she Rapeka and the Chamojibala and the Koda Conte Maris.
And so he also talk about that happens at the time, when the course or the gross or coarse form of recognition is still around, it's still active.
Teresa and the she Chamo and Chism Tammy Nazo Kodat and a Pacho Koga somebody.
So during that time, during the coarse form of recognition, if you tell them, then they can hear you, they can think, they can think that way. But if that has dissolved, and then when you are in the state of the subtle form of recognition, then at that time, even if you tell them, they will not hear you. They will not be able to think in the way you explain to them.
Teresa Benangazo Konda Manyaga Lamaya Pena Caroloch. Middle get them to Motechevena, Nikanga, go get them Chandova. Manyagala, Corona, Nika, Corosado, Cordomo.
So that's why it says like at the time when you go to sleep, if you sleep with the positive thought, then the whole sleep becomes positive. If you sleep with the negative thought at the beginning of the sleep, right? If you sleep with the negative thought, then whole sleep becomes negative.
Tenri that Namjunga to Gavala Combache de Penanga Chimbores. Jamdo, Jangchub, Sem, the Pay Comachimbodes. They are Kumbayawayana, Nericala Rap, Chetam, they got some all and something to it.
And so therefore, accustoming, with the virtuous thought is very important. Familiarizing or accustoming with the virtuous thought is very important. And so if we are familiarized with that, then it's easier to think about that thought at the time of death.
Yes.
So I knew somebody in hospice who knew they were dying, and they had great fear of losing their family, leaving their children. Would that be considered virtuous then?
말하거든. 다 그런 미시동이죠. 그런 다 낭밀을 차네.
알레.
샘대체 낭밀을 태도를 쓰는 사람.
대말 대다 두어 장로 대
That's actually is bad. So that's attachment, craving.
And there's no virtue in that at all.
Yeah.
겨우창 말하다.
겨우창 말해.
No.
디갈랑 간줄라고 빼잖아. 빼잖아도 간줄라고. 근데 처럼 남이지 돈으로는 딘돈을 처럼 뭐야요 말스. 뭐나 퍼져왔음. 근데 밤에 차로 살아와.
And so also like we encourage, like in the Tibetan culture, when people are dying, then the families are encouraged not to, are advised not to cry in front of the person who's dying, because then they will die with the sadness. So, I leave my families crying, and thinking that they will die with the sadness. So it's encouraged not to die, not to cry, in front of the person who's dying.
Okay.
So what about war? Of course, like if you're fighting,
Yeah.
you're not going to be like, oh, happy, good thoughts. I just got a bayonet in my eye. I mean, how are you going to?
다 대단하고 다
Some 도자기는 싫어 얼마.
서로 다그 가로 다 둘러 두셔가라 가로. 다 고정 맞아 시올라들 가지. 근데 다 고.
공로당 맞아.
고로 맞아 신로 다때 가래나 고 개월 말다 고 맞아라래.
When you die in that kind of situation, it's very difficult to have a virtuous thought.
Yeah.
You either die with the anger or jealousy or pride or arrogance, those kind of things. So when you die with that, it's mostly negative.
Yeah. 단디 어디지? 다 어디도 담대 몸으로 두 지나까지 다 무간디 책에 여와 간이와 변나 다 간도 배회를 우설라 두든 해야 돼. 늘마 신에 봐 우마마마마 지금 참모는 당가도 내가 라파생 거 내가 라파생 간도 싫어네 밑에 시송을 그래. 다 참모세 돼 간도 미만 통하지. 나게 우 아니 우 가로 다 시바 참모지야. 아니 디갈다 동반이나 냠바시아가 샹시고서나 냠바죠. 트레제는 간지 지금 참모 섬데 다 나와 된다 숨시 싱가 되는데 뭐 보여 그랬어. 공부 말이 왔지.
And so then as a person dies, in the process of death, the first the outer course or outer wind will stop, and then so that's what we normally ordinary people will think that's death. So you breathe, so you're dead already. But then there's also the inner the wind or subtle wind, that's still inside. So the high level practitioner can hold that, can still be alive, with the subtle wind, and actually, the subtle wind that carries the subtle mind can also be very powerful in meditating on bodhicitta or compassion or emptiness. And then on that state of meditation, they can remain for days and weeks and even a month. So a high level practitioner can do that. And so, actually, at that time, it's not considered as death. When the outer wind has stopped and the outer air wind has stopped, but your inner wind is still running, at that time it's not considered as death.
Yes.
So for most of us, when the outer wind has stopped, has the inner wind also stopped?
It's not necessary. It's not necessary. But lumba delata ngando mishi sawada ko pagi jamang shusha ngando tak kadi shige 동계 말아봤어.
그래서 너무 최고 다듯이.
ngando 다 배வில் 우서 제와이나 아니 밑에 종사와이나 아니 가시로 다 두덤 때문에 따라야 아니 나오는 마야 차든 도야다 올마 차든 도야나 애들 나고 쳇도 다르스 그거 다때 더 매와이나 아니 단데 우체요 말이스 좀 로르마 가고 말이 배나 간도 제다 당보 간도 우용사데 우속다 남식 바자차다데 아니 밤에 딱 거가 말이 샤고 왔어 대샤네 다때 파파파파데 때 니가란데 니게 티 나라 우 섬다 데데데 다 되니 아니 코까보데 나고네 마용 아니 마보데 올 마테서나 에다 나우체스 아니 리포트 마카요 그래 실로라 디게 따도 실로레 메바이나 미가도 메바 미시살라리 파데 코시다레 코게요 말다 나우체요 말이.
So it depends, right? So even ordinary people, when they die, they don't immediately stop the inner or subtle wind, when they stop the outer or the coarse wind. So the sign of having stopped that is, when people after they die, then when the inner and outer, the inner wind have stopped, then they will bleed from your nose. So that like the red and white fluid of their body, the red fluid will come out of their nose, and then the white fluid will come, from their lower orifice, from their genitals. And when that happens, then at that time the subtle wind has also left the body. The subtle mind and the subtle wind is stopped, and the subtle mind and the mind has also left the body. So because when we conceive, when the mind or consciousness conceives into the womb of mother, it conceives into those two drops, right? The red and white drops, or the fluids, and then so at the time of death, then these the two fluids, like I mentioned before, like these the red, residing in the navel area, and then the white residing in the crown area. So when the supporting wind, which is the outer the wind, when that disappears, then it falls. So the red rises up, and then the white falls down. So that's the nature of the fire and the water. The white falls down, and the red rises up. And then when there's the wind, the subtle wind, there's the subtle wind that supports that is also gone, and that also rises all the way, and then comes out of your nose or mouth. So the red fluid comes out of your upper orifice, and then the white fluid falls all the way down and then comes out. So at that time, then the consciousness has completely left the body, and then that's really when you die. And at that point, only then it starts to the corpse, that starts to stink, smell, and all these things. Before that, it can still, even though the breathing has stopped, your body can be still fresh and doesn't smell at all. So when the high-level practitioners remain in meditation, and at that stage, their body can stay fresh for like many days or weeks, even after they have stopped the outer wind. It's not like something that happened before. It still happens. So depending on level of practice, or level of kind of karma, and all depending on that, it can still happen these days. And so there was also like couple of years ago, there was a Rinpoche who stayed in that state for 21 days. For 21 days, so he was sitting and holding his hands like that, and then he was still holding it. It didn't. It was, of course, when you die, you have So actually, when the outer, the breath or the wind stopped, he wasn't holding his hand. But then when he was in that state, of the subtle wind, and he had, he was holding his fingers with the other hand, and so nobody knows how did it happen, when it happened. So His Holiness, the Lama, also mentioned about having a camera, like 24-hour camera and a CC camera, all the time, running on that, and then they will know, how it happened, and so they could have found out about that in that way. So from outside, when you look at the person is already dead. The doctor has declared that the person is dead and already signed. But from inside, he's still has this subtle wind, which is keeping him alive. So the brain has stopped working. When there's no oxygen in the brain doesn't work, right? So the brain has stopped working, and so of course the scientists will not be able to, see how he can still be alive, when the brain is dead. So, but in Tibetan or in Buddhism, we talk about that, the subtle wind still going in the body.
아니 되지면은 샤보 쪼그쇼래. 야갈 호쇼라 차와 야가래 아니 굽지도 와이래서. 아니 샤보 쪼그들이 쇼래. 종살 멤버 종살래. 종살인 게 요말이.
And so also one of the Ganden throne holder, on the 100th and the Ganden throne holder of the Gelug tradition, when he passed away, he stayed in that state, for 19 days in South India, in a very hot area, very hot weather, climate, right area, and for 19 days, no smelling, nothing, sitting there like that.
어떤 대대는 연구였다. 대가서 가서 곧나한테 쇼를 가서 삼점도 내마들이 쇼를 되는 단단들이 요. 다들 니 체외 갑라야. 아니 뭐 잡아 차서 파 나서와지. 아니 바도 쯤에 와지 바로 때 되거든.
And so that's that's in between before the intermediate state. Right? So the outer or the coarse wind has stopped from running in your body, but you still have that subtle the wind that's still running in your body, and you sit in that state for many days as possible. So depending on your level of understanding or practice, you can stay for many days like that.
근데 다 너라 간서 로카는 제가 간도 시험을 데리시나고 데리면가 기록을 저도 좀 동거 말아.
So so that is not considered as death, So, but here, of course, the moment you stop breathing, then you say, oh, you're dead, and then you just wrap them up and put in the refrigerator, right?
아니 근데 거는 다 자용도 얼마 용을 동거 말고 시작하려.
So you don't even see whether that person's the subtle wind has stopped or not in the body. You don't look at those signs of red fluid coming out of your nose or the white fluid coming out of your genital, and so you don't get that that time to see that.
다 내가 가려서 나 변나 텐디 미디 나우체 매와지 그게 메타 당샤보다 사올루셔나 다 대칭이들라 메세비디 봐요 그래서.
So the risk about that, and another risk about that is that if the person is still in the subtle wind state, and then you say, oh, he's dead, and then you cremate him or bury him, then actually you create the karma of killing him.
근데
He's not dead yet, so you kill him.
I know in your tradition they have like certain amount of days before you you don't move the body or something like that, and there's certain amount of days for the couple.
그래서
근데 하고 그러세요.
난도 남진 신앙 응아도 파다서 다음에는 가도 실라고 와서 내가 좀 통으로 합니다.
이만 뭐니 개워 말았다. 그거 가서 다차 되마든 개발.
그래 가서 대 다대 차도 저로 되면 남진 차 되면 양아 누스치래서 나도 누스치네 배나 너와라야 미강가 라요 말 미카시야 누스친다는 빠빠스인데도 나도 판로셔도 아니 미시르는 그 대대 누스치다 그 대대 아 될다 그랬어.
So you have to wait to see the sign. It's not. It doesn't. It depends. Some people can stay for a couple of days. Some people can stay for many days. And like even a week or a month. So depending on that person, and we don't know who that person is, right? We can't tell just by looking at the person, even though he or she appears as an ordinary person to our eyes, but they could be special holy beings, right? We don't know. Anyway, so that's like I mentioned. The sign is that when the blood comes out from your nose. When you die and then you bleed, then that time, yes, your subtle mind has left already, and then the body will start to smell and stink. And that time, you're sure that it's dead. Then the Geshe says also other sign that you can see is like when the person is dead. Usually, you shouldn't touch the body because their mind can be triggered with that feeling in their body, right? So if you really want to touch, then you can take like when you pull the skin, it goes right flat. But when you pull the dead person's skin, it just stays loose. It doesn't act like that.
Yeah.
So you can see it that way. So anyway, so the sign is like when it bleeds and then it starts to sting and then it's dead.
Okay. 근데 다 근데 가라 다 냠내 봐야 보나 티가 똥바지라 냠바샤. 상식을 세면 냠바샤. 아니 띵이들 냠바신데 뭐 되대요.
So at that time, if the practitioner, is in a high level practitioner, then they can stay in that level for a long time, meditating on emptiness, compassion, concentration. They can be there for a long time.
그러나 세당 간소 시 간소 수보대 사치밀 중앙식 다 주대로 왔어. 아니 다 시간을 더서 변나 사치밀 중앙식 레레 니바냠 마마만 탐네 콜라로 그래.
So our bodies, normally when we are alive, our body is supported by these four elements, right? The heat, the water, the air, earth and all these things. So when we die, the power of these elements disappear one by one, and then that's how we die. We don't have any. I don't have any support, to support this body.
야 근데 배가 냠내 받는 요 단다 배도와 용도 니마고 라마 냠내 받는 야막 공부도서 보통 수보 공부도 수보 초초초초 수보건 라로들이 거 짜대다 아니 세모 때문에 그렇게만 하더래요.
And then there are also some lamas, when they die, they shrink, their body, shrinks, it becomes smaller, smaller, and then everything disappears. Only like maybe a hair or finger nail will be left. Nothing will be there. Everything will be just shrunk.
수보처럼 매화차로 들어요. 대 로카지들이 좋으래.
So yeah, their body completely disappears. Becomes smaller, and then disappears.
아니 총총으로 단다 몸벌레도 같이 총총총 담보 수보 빼는 간도로 왜나 총총총 주무 셰네 파타데도 수보 정확하게 총총 빼는 건데 부주의선 어들이 몸 통도 와.
So you might have seen many cases like that. People when they when you're alive, you're a big body, but then when you die, your body becomes very small. Some even to like a size of an infant body.
근데다 가서 다 간지 니콜라 옆에다 놔두나 빼 제워였다는데 빼 밑에 간이 셔와 삼모 가린 코고요 간이 체가 빼 제워였다 남비 추나 간가 되나요 빼다.
So these are all very in detail explained in the tantric teachings.
Okay. Yes. 야 되어res. 당가도는 맨날 진든다고 찔레 차셔만 되어res. 가이는 싸워. 다야 팔 세당가도 레서야 돼. 잡았으면 무정도. 레치긴 레고 잡았으면 판도에 맞서 무정도.
So yeah, I mean depends, So if we're talking about this life, then whatever is created, first in this life. So or maybe on one of the previous lives, So you have created, one of the previous life, and so usually, the karma is completed in no more than 3 lifetimes.
다 3 lifetimes 디바르 스캡쳐셔다야. 콜로 좀 돌아먹은 듯이.
So 3 life can be this is 1 life definitely, right? And the past life can be the immediately past life, or 100 lives before, or 1,000 lives before, 1,000,000 lives before. That's one. And then next life can be the immediate next life, or 100 lives next time, or 1,000 lives in the next, or maybe like 100,000. It depends on that. So in these 3 lifetimes, your karma will be completed.
그냥 아주 단다 센들에 레사샤야나 아니 다 제원이라도나 뒤제와 심만을 내버 좀 그랬어. 될 다 제원이 독서 그러었어.
And so some can be completed in 2 lifetimes. Right? So you create a karma in this lifetime, and then the result of that you experience in the next lifetime. Then your karma is created. Your karma is completed.
답배 차샤와야나 미지기야 제와 심마 바주제에 레사샤요지. 그러와. 다 레사야와나 셔갈라가 아니 배나 멋지원 배제 레가 아니 시타샤와야나 그 바주제가 말했어. 바주제와 그 잡로샤샤 그랬어. 아니 멀게네 다티 제와 제미게 제마 그 바주제 배제 레데 바 마파와야나 아니 콜라 세타미 아니 바주제로 될 제와 숨종으로 그러와.
So, for example, if you create a karma in this lifetime, right? So you create a karma to be born as a cow, and then at the time of death, your karma to be born as a human is triggered, and then in the next lifetime you will be born as a human. But the karma that was created in this lifetime to be born as a cow is still there, right? And then in one of the lifetimes, then that karma will be triggered. So the one they created this time, triggered at that lifetime, and then next life, then you will be born as a cow. So that's how you complete the karma in 3 lifetimes.
배신바지라 배는 간도 신가지 나라다 배는 단데 내도 존이 있다고 해요. 당봉에 다데 나 내도 있다고 했어. 니나 내요. 싫어. 다다고라 다 내다면 배는 내 존인데 배는 담보 내다에 봐시 봐야지. 다 내가지 내다 와지. 아니 저기 나 내다가 좋다고 해서 그 내도 유네 그 좋답샤와나. 그 내일 하서 뭐로. 아그 뒤 지마다 답사 매워 줘서
So it's just like you're sowing a seed of a barley or wheat, whichever you see, say, oh, so okay, I'm going to sow the seed of barley, And I said, no, I want to see the seed of wheat. So you only have a place for one, and then you sow the seed of the barley, but you still have the wheat seed. And then you say, okay, next time I'll do it. And next year, so then that seed will be sowed next year, and it will come to fruit in next year.
Okay, 다양. Okay, yeah, maybe I got it.
What you're just saying kind of confuses me when I think
What
about
kind?
dependent arising.
Yeah.
And one is from the past, ignorance and compositional factors, and then you have the other links, and then, birthing, aging and death. It doesn't seem to square what you're saying with it. It's confusing. So that is basically 3 lifetimes, right? The dependent arising. But what you're saying is like 8 lifetimes could somehow, you know what I mean? It's hard to conceptualize it.
No, 대 말에 같이 그냥 거기서.
So you mean like, of course when you talk about the dependent origination, that's different, right? So even like talking about the karma, so you mean you find difficult to understand that about the karma, or?
What you just said with dependent arising,
Yeah.
it talks about 3 lifespans.
3 lives, yeah.
You just mentioned 3 lifespans, but when you add another lifespan, it's almost like, I'm just trying to square that with the model, dependent arising.
그러다 먼저 땐데 알아주지도 세치로做了 세소만 做了.
대 세심도 집어래. 이나 대라변나 땐데라셔라 땐데 차치다 찬이 되시 시다만 보이더라.
네.
아니 땐데 차시다 대변나 첸 달라야 땐데라 주시다나 대 첸이 정도 그래서. 다변은 레사요지 변 몇점피 레사셔요지. 이나 샤라가 몇점피 레티가 세토 마도와 전에 아니 따죠피 레사잖아. 다 아니 몇점피 레데 레시마 도마도 말와. 다고 레스마도 발한도. 가지 스마 가지 지마질래. 지마질라 코치엔데는 미켄도.
Yeah, so I mean that dependent origination, the 12 link of dependent origination is related with the karma, so that we create, right? So like for example, you create a karma to be born as a horse in this lifetime, and then if that karma is triggered at the time of death, then you'll be born as a horse in the very next lifetime. So then your dependent, the 12 link of dependent origination or that course of karma is completed in 2 lifetimes. But if you have not, if you have not, triggered that karma in this lifetime, then you created the karma this time, but then it will be triggered in one of the lifetimes, and then fruition going to happen in one of the other lifetimes. So that's how it is completed in 3 lifetimes. So either in 2 lifetimes or 3 lifetimes.
Yeah.
It's means the 4th lap, 2nd lap, 3rd lap.
So there can be a gap in between.
Yeah.
But then you also said before that you could have like 10 lifetimes ago done something. So it's really not, that 3 lifetime thing is only an guesstimate.
Well, 3 lifetime is definitely when it's going to happen, right? So if it didn't happen in this very lifetime or in the next very lifetime, then it will definitely happen in 3 lifetimes. So you created a karma this lifetime, and then it will be triggered in one of the lifetimes, and then it will be fruition. The result will come in one of the other lifetimes.
Do you guys understand?
The 3 lifetimes are not consecutive.
Right.
Not consecutive.
Not consecutive.
Not consecutive.
3 lifetimes are required
2 will be
for
consecutive.
karma to finish.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this is
You
correct.
begin, or the seed is created, and then there's the activation lifetime, and then there's the completion
lifetime. Yeah.
There's 3.
3.
For the karma to complete its cycle.
So in other words, if we had 10 lives before, then we're immune to that karma.
Example, no.
How do you do both? It's like if you have karma A that's 3 lifetimes, and you have karma B that manifests in 10 lifetimes.
No, it's another 3 lifetimes. Each karma is a 3 lifetime proposition.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
No.
Oh, it could be 2.
Usually 2.
Karma could be 1
2 or
also.
3.
So could be
Yeah.
1, could be 2, could be 3.
다른 것도 제원피지 내서나 코다 제원이 만들어 봐. 그래서 디바라 샤자죠. 코 이게 내들 레드 코 레사서들 레코 제머나 코다 되거 봐.
So if it's a karma to propel you to the next life, then one of the next life, then it of course has to be in 2 lifetimes or 3 lifetimes. But anyway, so if it didn't happen in the very next lifetime, then you still have the karma still there, and then it will happen in one of the other lifetimes.
Yes.
This might be
More
off,
clear.
but the 12 dependent links of origination, you don't have to necessarily do all 12 in one lifetime.
No.
If there's 3, you could potentially have 3 lives, right?
2 lives or
12
3
lives.
lives. Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're talking about?
Either in
They-
2 or 3, yeah.
So it's
12
not like,
links automatically are the 3 lifetimes. ignorant.
right, but you don't,
Yeah.
you don't.
No,
you're
it
born
can be 2
ignorant
also.
and die. You don't go
세
12,
니라
12.
저스러서.
제와 그때 뭐죠 표절된다고는 저니 고로 세달 내서 저시만 랭고로 니고
들려나 주니 줘볼라.
줘볼라.
겨원이 아무리 겨웠음.
어떻게 그랬어?
Yeah. So you don't necessarily have to have 3 lifetimes, and you can have in 2 lifetimes also.
Example, you create the cause to rebirth the human rebirth. You
In
create
this
this
lifetime.
life,
You created in this lifetime,
you rebirth next life.
triggered at this lifetime, and then you are born next lifetime. So in the 2 lifetimes.
대견이래서 다좀 멋져 표절 레터는 쌓여왔지. 저 시간라가 멋져 표절 레터를 시토마다 왔지. 아니 샤시운다고 저 표절 레터나 멋져 표절 콜레 사서다 돼.
So you created karma to be born as a human being in this lifetime, but it was not triggered at the time of death. So what got triggered is to be born as a bird, and then you are born as a bird, and then after that depends on what, and so whenever that karma that you have created now gets triggered, and then the next life, then you'll be born as human beings, So it will not necessarily happen very next lifetime. It could take 10 lifetimes, 100 lifetimes, 1,000 lifetimes, million lifetimes. Your karma will be still there. It will not go anywhere.
let 파카로다 메오소메나. Yeah.
Unless
Yeah.
you are purified,
Yeah.
or destroyed.
Do you understand that? So you are not easy. Everyone, can you guys understand? Who understand? Can you explain for him?
What's your question?
It just seems intellectually incongruent when you postulate a 3 lifetime span of dependent arising and then introduce 100-year births ago. How do you square the 2? So that's maybe just one strand of karma, but dependent arising is clearly 3 from the past life to the current life to the next life.
No.
No, it doesn't necessarily have to
Conflate the
rank in
dependent
the next
arising.
life. It could be, and if it is 100 lifetimes for you, that's still just 3 lifetimes, It's the.
Okay, another example. I'll give you example, okay. You owe some money for him, right? You have to pay every month.
No interest.
Maybe no interest, okay? But the moment before, next month coming, you borrow her some money, you have to pay immediately her. You pay her his money. You couldn't pay for him, Oscar. But it not means you skip that 1 month, but it not means you don't want to pay. You have to pay maybe third month. Do you understand like that? This is a little easy. This is go there, do it.
Easy to understand?
Well, that's easier.
Yeah, example, because you have to pay in him. Long you owe you money, but you don't pay the next month. Because you have to pay another one her, but you have to pay the kind one. It's in then between that he said ask us, okay, you don't have to pay my 1 month, then you don't have to pay. Example, before you create the later mama ngela and then later mewasoshana konde mewashasoro.
So just like before the karma ripens, into a result, if you destroy it or purify it, then you don't have to experience the result.
근데 다 가리죠. 단대 가리죠. 다 당겨려와. 다 저랑 단대 올라 아니 저랑 semogana 저랑 개섬 증거는 저거지. 먹여 셈는 게 루마데 셈는 게 저거지. 다 루마데 게나 다 레카 톱쳐야 돼 먹었다. 다 개섬이나 고 개와랑 만바인자 개와시마디 티긴데 왔다 마요 거지. 먹여 셈는 게 제완다 고 먹여와랑 제요 거지. 다 루마데 임바나 아니 강 곰바 강 톱쳐와. 아무도 강 곰바 쳐와. 강을 싸와서 고쳐요 거지.
And so what kind of karma is going to be ripened and at the time of death, it depends on what kind of thought you have. If you have a positive thought, then positive karma will be ripened. If negative thought, then negative karma will be ripened. And if you have a neutral thought, then depends on the karma, right? So like which one is more powerful, which one is more familiarized with, and which one is created first.
다 옆에 맨날 남주 개와에 와서 되게 시간을 코너로 싸워나 제가 나갔다 코너로 싸워나 아니 양 레 셴바지를 쓰다니 되게 되면 그래서.
And so if someone is a good practitioner, practicing dharma all the time, but then if he dies at the time of death with the anger, then one of the negative karma that he has created before will be triggered by that anger. And then that negative karma, will bear the result, of suffering or, a lower rebirth in the future life.
다 남지 고 세들라 치고 야보 마치게 제바이나 그 시간을 계속면 제바이나 양 그마 사시베 개벨이 제라 소다나 양 대로 젠도 그래서.
So even if someone who doesn't do very good or does very bad things all the time, all throughout his lifetime, then but at the time of death, if he has a positive thought, like compassion or concern for others or thought to benefit others, then that thought will trigger one of the positive karmas that he may have created in many previous lifetimes before, and then that will then bear the result, a positive result and happiness in the future life.
다음에 시세가 그래야 아무데 겐도데노 가와체 양 가서 다시 자드 말이야 사이질에 가서 죄간에 도고도 다요 그래서.
And then he's talking about how the heat leaves your body or dissipate, from your body, and depending on coming from the head to heart, or from the toe to heart.
아니 깜바니 야 도이나 아니 밑에 내려 제게래서 대야 돈이 딱 hin가라 바 돈으로 서와.
If it dissipates from leg, from foot, to the heart, then that shows that that's a sign that he's going to be born in the upper realm.
단 내내 마 돈으로는 다시 거기서 야오셔 말이지.
Then if it's dissipating from the head, down to the heart, then that's not a good sign. Then he's going to be born in the lower realms.
How do you then, if you experience that, you're going to go, oh, I'm going to the lower realm.
맞대.
How do you not get scared?
제가 소소도 하고 말때 소소도 좋고 말때 다때 나도 다음에 그 소소 좋고 말.
So you yourself, might not know. 학공해지는
너 공연은 좋고 왔어.
그래. 근데 앞에 당하다 년동 깨알아서는 시기라서.
대시에 대 학원은 시기를 된거는 했어.
안 되도 되는 소선.
다 대대야 개선 봐 좋다 와이나 아니 고제와 여러 왔어.
So it's good that you can see that, right? If you can see that, you know it. Now you studied, you know about it, and at that time, if it really happens, then you know it. Oh God, I'm going to be born in lower realm. Oh, I better do something. And then you recite mantra or do some prayers, and generate some positive thought. Then that can change. So it's good to know that.
미카제 요래 저서 찌찌는다 맞은 나와를 싫어하고마다 말 둘러시키죠. 말 둘러키죠. 참마시 올라가는 게 돼요.
So some but people who don't know, sometimes people who don't know, who haven't studied Dharma, who doesn't know about that, they just think, oh, I'm just feeling cold, I feel cold up here, and then you're sure that the heat is dissipating from the upper body. Or sometimes, oh, I feel so cold in my leg, my foot, and then they tell that, at the time of that. But people don't know, they're just feeling cold, so they give him blankets, and no matter how much, but they still feel cold, like that. So people don't know, then of course they just go through that. But people who know can then change at that time.
야 안에 소소 시간을 전화가 오는 배나 소소 세들라 고민나 배나 근데나 배시야도 미카제 배 잘라가 내용 와서 그러거든. 야 가시 배나 내로라 제 내로 제가나 지금에 소소 예바던 거 예바로 잘라가 막 뚜리고 되는 나온 거서 왔어.
And then they also have a different visions at the time of death, right? So like talking about the tea bricks, they are going like pressed or suppressed by the tea bricks, things like that.
아니 가실 시간에 양비 소소비 암졸라서 트래픽에 배 깨냐 먹고 하는 양물라 야보샤와로 자샤와 되는 거 대하고 대야보는 거.
And then some also have this vision of a very a pleasant sound, hearing very pleasant sound, or having a vision of a rainbow lights like that. So those are good signs.
오다 테리단 들마 네 배나 람림 치면 때 제요 네 콜이야 네 시라제고요 말.
So this about this section of the time the visions of the death or the process of death appearing to us is more in detailed explanation, detailedly explained in the Great Lamrim.
It's
a little bit more extensive than this one here.
Okay, and those pension Jana Yaboy Penangado Mishra Momoro, Chodo no new tomorrow.
So it's very good to know these kind of things, especially for someone like me who goes to see the dead people all the time. People who are dying, right? They invite Geshe to come and see the people who are dying. And so it's good to know these things, But you don't get called to come and see people who are dying, right?
Young Midreben, Mashalaga, Mikajipe, Jumbo P, Tishinroda, Tazoya, Yabores.
So, but if you have like friends or relatives who are passing away, and then when you happen to be there and you know this, then that can be helpful to help them. So some people also die very peaceful, right? Without much suffering, without much torments. Then they die very peacefully. And that's also a good sign.
미카제야 마시고 남자다 치바 가서 따디나 밑에 남발랑게 소요들 가서 실은 기도만 지도나 대사이야 보셔 그 나도 용대 그래.
So then that's the sign, and that's the sign that he's getting a good vision or like that. And then some people die with a very strong fear or terror and stress. Then that like shows also a bad sign, because then that's the kind of the sadness or the fear that they're going through there. They're having some kind of a bad visions in them.
And 배셔들은 요래 다처럼 변나 쉬도 보거나 처럼 나한테 용거다. 디갑처럼 아니 나 노래요 말했어. 처럼 나한테 용거 나한테 용거 빼먹고 싶어.
So in the text it talks about the visions, like the white appearance, the black near attainment, the red increase and so forth. The white vision, like we talked about the white drop flowing down, and then all these things. So those are something that good to know. If we go through that process, then we know what's happening, and then we can prepare.
변나 미카지 소소 가디셔 하고 있다. 다다 하고 있다. 냠냠하더래나.
So some people, like especially who know about these things and who are familiar with these things, just knowing is not necessary, right? So you have to be familiar and think about it again and again. When you get more familiar, then you'll be able to understand or able to get it at the time when it's happening. So if you're a high level practitioner, then definitely you'll be easier to think about that.
녜마 기실라 먼저 기시토가 안데 고마 마토는 내려야 먼저 토렌토 장거리 비신 제가 좀 말. 이 장거리 러비지 때서 다 계란인데 다 다시 가로 시사 타니에서 아니 시사 타니에서나 레퍼던 통쇼스 아니 근데 그 송소 아니 니 맞지 가서 딱게 변나 산이 고나로 고마서나 변나 대리 고나로 그래 아니 시간이라 딱 네가 예시당 니에 되어다는 가서 냠도 계시게 요래 가서 먹다 요래 강가 요래 가서 개 코너 삼다 가서 냠도 사든다 게 냠대들 인타창 말을 들어버들 가서 군대 배러버들 따지죠 되게 통계에서 아니 공다 많이 가라 버들 통 아니 산이 좋게 되네 당연히 해야 되겠어 아니 산이 좋게 다 니거든 다 데리고나로 온다 산이 니만인가 니거든 다 니고 근데 산이 공단 제 주세 중이도 와지 데려오지 고모 줘
아 내가 저 부추도 그래 다들 데 사고 데이터도 좀 하고 봤어 그래서 내가 산이 두고 있어
다들 대등에 된건데 다 원래 가서 군대식 소 루버드 계셔왔어 당연히 사기했어 다 장소 날라서 장한테 가리 뭐 하고 왔어 얘는 나 돈하도 싫어 맞아 가나 미세 고마 돈도 해요 말어 나 산이 쇼거든 게임도 야라면도 그거 땅데도 아니 뒤 공단 생기 번다 주순이 잡시러 진인도 잡시라는 오지까지 이거를 때다고 가디 동가 신경스러
디젤한테 치우체라다 치우체네 따로 가다 니모카 슈마래
대도 쉬고 왔다 대가 안에 쉬고 맞으면 갈래야 가지 다진도
So like some high level practitioners, they know when they're going to die. They can tell, like in the case of our Geshe Tsulga, the late Geshe Tsulga, when he was very sick, right? So he went to see His Holiness Dalai Lama in Toronto, and then Dalai Lama gave him this pill, blessed pill, to take. And he told him, he advised him to take it at the close time, to death. And then of course Geshe brought it, and then he was here, and Geshe was sitting here. I mean, he was very sick, but he was still, talking, eating, sleeping, just like other people. And then one day, Geshe Tsulga asked Geshe
evening,
Geshe Tsulga asked Geshe and Ani Yeshe to bring that pill. And so Geshe, then of course he was, so he said, oh, bring that pill, that His Holiness gave. So I'm going to take that. And then he was like not worried at all. So he said, you know what this means, right? So it means like His Holiness told him to take it at that time when he's very close to death. And then he says, so that means tomorrow I'll be gone, like that. So and he said that he took that medicine, the pill, and then he just went to sleep. He was very peacefully sleeping. And then next day, whole day he was sleeping, didn't wake up at all. And then that the whole day, and then at the night around 12 o'clock, then he stopped breathing. So the outer wind, stopped breathing, but then inner wind was still there, and then he stayed there for
couple days,
3 days,
3-4 days, something.
like 3-4 days. He was in that. After he stopped breathing, he was still, there, and then those signs, like we talked about earlier, wasn't there for like next 3-4 days.
Yeah. Therefore, His Holiness told him, when you think that we're ready, take the pill. That night he's just normal, nothing special, not very serious. I thought I don't really much to pay attention. But next day morning, usually we morning unusually we eat some breakfast. We go that he doesn't move, he doesn't just sleep like that. And also it's very, we hear usually when you die, you say you have to die like this way. Exactly, that's right. Kapana.
Yeah, Geshe Tsulga was lying exactly like
Exactly
that,
like that.
in the position like of Buddha sleeping.
Yeah. However, he sleep that night, he doesn't move just all night. Next day he didn't move, he just closed eyes. We just try to, we thought maybe he's sleeping, we just try to push the but he doesn't move anything. That's still he's breathing. Then he knows when he's going to die. It's really like clear sign, His Holiness, white pill,
Pill.
white pill, he
Blessed
said.
pill.
When you think you are going to die soon, take this pill. Then he really exactly do that. But you're really practicing, you know what's going on that. Then you can prepare. Okay? Yes.
One last question. So it's only when, it's only a person who is entirely realized will go through this aspect of having the inner breath continuing after the outer breath has stopped, right?
말아.
그래요.
너무 맞춰야 돼. 너무 땅 대야 되잖아. 너무 야마 땅 대야 돼. 있다 먼저 냠름 버침을 해서 그래.
대마령 나도 강가를 연구했대. 인지비 냠레 치고 딱 가로 시단 냠레 봐서 뭐하요 그러고서.
So yeah, I mean, it all happens to all of us. It happens to all of us. The inner wind and outer wind. Outer wind is like like we can feel like the breathings, the in going in and out. So that the inner wind we don't feel it, So to us it will be like there's no air at all, but there's the inner wind, that's still holding the mind inside our body, and so that happens to every one of us. But if you are a high level practitioner, then you can stay in that state for a longer time. As long as you want to stay, you can stay depending on your level of realization. You can stay, but it all happens to us. For some of us, it goes very fast, and but maybe if it stays for a day or two like that, depends.
So basically, when the outer wind stops, the body is dead, but the consciousness is still alive.
Yeah.
Consciousness is still in the body.
In the body.
So
Body del or
머리 들려다 가서 시행 안도 직대기 타냐를 실어다.
오늘 시험 말아.
시당 가서 머리 됐어 요 말아 왔다.
그래.
오늘 시험 말다 가지. 실로는 시다다. 나 시동은 시험 말.
So I don't know what do you mean by body is dead. So body is dead when you are dead, right? The person is dead. The person is dead. So when the outer breathing is stopped, then we consider ordinary people will consider the person's dead.
right.
But in reality, if that sign is not there, then you're still not dead.
Right. So what's not dead? The consciousness. What does that mean?
The body is not dead either. The super 시험 알아.
수보 맞아. 시당 가서 수보 심하지 가서 타냐대 요 말아 왔다.
The midishema, so the person is not dead.
Yeah.
You don't say body is not dead or body is dead. You don't say that, The person is not dead.
So no, because
The consciousness is still inside the body.
so our understanding
Yeah.
of being alive is that we're still breathing.
Exactly,
When
yeah.
that outer
Exactly.
breathing has stopped, but the inner breathing is going on. So my understanding is that the way we understand
Or the dead.
dead is that body is dead, but the
Yeah.
consciousness is alive. So if the consciousness is alive, and
No.
be alive-
We don't say body is dead and consciousness. Not like that. Person is not dead at that time.
Okay.
The person is not dead. The consciousness is still inside the body. The consciousness has not left the body. It's still inside the body. So I don't think you can call that body is dead. The consciousness is still there. So the person is still alive. Person is still alive. So when the consciousness has left, then you get that sign of the inner wind have stopped also. So at that time, then the person is dead.
So it's not considered craving or clinging at that point.
So at that point, it already happened. The craving and the clinging happens, and when the coarse mind, still there. The coarse recognition, the coarse form of recognition is still there. 가서 두시라고 이렇게 없어라.
그래서 나도 욱당 느시라 받은 거도 욱당 통계와 감 느시라 받아라.
뒤도다 다 가서 가서 다 실렌데 시파다 렘바.
뭐 뒤갑쳐. 어떻게 땡은 로서다.
So 다들 가서 나우 값도 뒤에 말한 거죠.
나오게도 다 레스하게 막 개개 책임 말.
So during the inner when the outer breath has stopped, then you don't have the craving, the craving and clinging that already happened before that. And so when that happened, then you're just in that state,
So that
you know.
state is a pure state where it's not suffering, it's not.
You're not suffering, yeah,
karma,
yeah.
It's not suffering, yeah.
No, you don't have suffering at that time.
And it's not creating karma.
Not creating karma.
Not correct karma.
Then vegetangtonas.
배제 땅도 겨워서 배제 땅도 그 땅이 겨워서 되거든.
Yeah, so if you are familiar, if you're familiar with the practice, and then you can, at that time, you can use that state mind. That's the subtle state of mind. You can use that to meditate on compassion, meditate on emptiness, and actually that is very powerful.
다 간도 어느 계속 가르치는 데 심해고 가르치는 제가 법제도는다 간도 맨날 미치 종치 아니 남치 타워들 샤보니 숨나는 토마토 그러고 다들 토마토 니마 종원이 대대바티 코나우 쳔메 딱 되레스.
And so how do you know if the person still has the inner breath or not, the inner wind or not? It depends. So like we mentioned about the example of this an abbot who passed away, but for even for 19 days, his body was fresh and it wasn't smelling at all. So that shows that his inner wind is still there.
대만은 간도 지대 중요로 가디나를 받고 샤리바데샤나 샬로마이나 그 니만 이린도로.
So otherwise, if you keep a piece of meat there outside, not in the refrigerator outside, like in 2 days it will smell, right? It will rot in 2 days.
Yeah.
So that's what happens to the dead body. When the person is completely dead, when the inner wind has stopped, then that's what happens to the corpse, the body, dead body also.
다때 단다 땅고름 제든 스리바냠도 디콜 주디모 제든 스리바도 하사고 다때 가진 리고 말스.
So yeah, then now the scientists, they find out that, oh yeah, that's right. Why doesn't it rot? Why doesn't it smell? And they discuss about this with His Holiness, the Lama, a lot.
생각도 미시드는 니만 이셔도 늘바 문보차 늘바 쳐서 문보차 자루 이와서 그죠.
So like otherwise, in 2 days, when person have died, and when 2 days, when the inner wind has stopped, then the body turns green and it starts to smell, rot, all this.
근데 다때 남베가 제주 만나와지 간지 미 많다고 만나와지 된 남베 지어다.
So that's the knowledge about Buddhism. That's not seen by others. Yeah. So about that inner wind.
Okay. Okay, now we talk too much. But think about it, that's a very interesting, right? Okay, how they process, they're all different process. There's so many things. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Chanting master's job.
All right, turn to page 39 of the prayer book, please. Saji Peki Jun Shin Meta Tramri Rabling Ji Ni De Gempadi Sangye Jingdu Mete Uwa Gidre Kunam Dak Jing La Cho Parsho Jesu Lame Kuche Rapten Jing Nam Katrin Le Cho Chu Ge Padang Lob San Tempe Dru Me Sap Sum Gi Dru Kwe Mun Zel Tatu Ne Gushi Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Niryatayami. From my 2 collections, Vast Space, that I have amassed, working effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all my lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please Buddhas by practicing. Using skillful means strong by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings. With the points of the path as I have discerned them, may I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time. By even this graded course to enlightenment completed due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children, may all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and make things conducive, practicing the excellent paths, never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. In that snow mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig remain in life till samsara's end. Page 49, short, long life prayer for Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Tup sung chang jing gong gong gelwe, tenzin gyom pelwe gunzo dog port se, chang sung kurwe le mun tu dru, pa da zo do je gundu zap ten show. Your form embodies all Buddhas. Your nature is that of Vajradhara. You are the root of the three jewels. Homage to you, O Gurus. In short, I seek your blessings, O Protector, to be cared for by you from birth unremittingly throughout all my lives, and thus to become your chief disciple, holding every secret of your body, speech, and mind. O Protector, please grant that all be auspicious for me to be foremost among your very first circle of disciples, wherever you manifest Buddhahood, so that all my temporal and ultimate wishes, without exception, may be effortlessly and spontaneously fulfilled. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Furthermore, in life after life, may I, pleasing him in return, be forever fostered by an accomplished Mahayana virtual master, the source of every virtue of this world and beyond. In his care, may I acquire in him a firm, unshakable faith, pleasing him by every means possible, doing nothing even for an instant to disappoint. May my spiritual master impart to me every instruction and every teaching in its entirety. Having understood them faultlessly, may I practice them and be able to bring them perfection. May I never even for a moment fall under the sway of malevolent teachers and misleading friends. Having developed in every life belief in cause and effect, renunciation, the Bodhi mind, and the pure view, may I embark upon them continually with effortless experience. In every life, may every virtuous act gathered by way of body, speech, and mind be causes solely for the welfare of others and for the purest and highest enlightenment. Page 57, Prayers of Dedication. Through this virtue may I swiftly, having gained Guru Buddha state, place each and every sentient being without exception in that state. Precious supreme Bodhi mind, may it where unborn arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. And we'll finish on page 75. Mig met se wei te chen chen raising, dream make pei wang po jam pel yang, gang chen ke pe su ge Tsongkhapa, lop sang dra pe jabla so wa dev. Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you, Geshe. We have a couple of quick announcements.
You want the microphone?
No.
Okay. Okay.
So Saturday,